The scorching sun beat down on the dusty alien settlement of Carthua. Among the rows of crude clay homes, a young woman named Lyra stood near the central well, trembling. Her skin, pale by local standards, marked her as different. The Carthuan elders, steeped in old traditions, had branded her impure after a minor ritual mishap. No one approached her. Children whispered behind her back, and merchants refused to sell her even a simple drink. The well, the only source of life-giving water, was barred to her. She watched the villagers draw water, each sip a painful reminder of her exile. The heat was merciless, and thirst gnawed at her throat. Lyra's hands shook as she cupped her dry lips. She had tried to reason with the elders, to explain that the ritual was nothing but a misstep, yet their faces were cold, their eyes hard with centuries of superstition. She felt invisible, an outsider in her own home. From the edge of the village, a shadow moved. Lyra looked up and saw a human. He was tall, clad in light-colored clothing, carrying a small, metal flask. His presence was unusual. Humans were rare in this sector of the galaxy, and most Carthuans regarded them with curiosity or distrust. The man's eyes were kind, and his steps deliberate. He approached Lyra slowly, aware of the tension in the air. "Are you thirsty?" he asked in a voice that was calm but commanding. Lyra hesitated, unsure if this was a trick. The elder's warnings echoed in her mind: humans are unpredictable, their motives unclear. But her thirst was overwhelming, and hope flickered faintly in her chest. She nodded. The human unscrewed the flask and extended it toward her. A cool stream of water glinted in the sunlight. "Here," he said simply. "Take it." Lyra's hands trembled as she took the flask. Her lips met the water, and relief flooded her senses. She drank deeply, savoring each drop as if it were precious treasure. For the first time in hours, she felt alive. The villagers began to murmur. Some stepped back in shock, others whispered angrily. The elders' faces darkened as they observed this breach of tradition. One of them, a man named Kale, moved forward. "Who are you to defy our laws?" he demanded. The human did not flinch. "I am called Marcus," he said. "I do not seek to defy, only to help." Kale's eyes narrowed. "You know nothing of our ways. This woman is impure. You will not corrupt our people with your human folly." Marcus's gaze was steady. Purity is not decided by rituals alone. Life, survival, and compassion matter more than old rules that harm people. Lyra looked at him, feeling a warmth she had not known for a long time. He saved me," she whispered. Kale banged his staff against the ground, and a few villagers hesitated. "You will leave now, human, or face punishment," he shouted. Marcus raised his hands in peace. "I mean no harm. I only seek to offer aid. If your people cannot accept that, then the consequences are yours." For a moment, silence fell. The wind carried dust across the square, and even the children stopped their whispers. Then, slowly, Lyra lifted her head. Something inside her stirred a courage she had not felt before. "You are not impure," she said, her voice trembling but firm. "The water was mine to drink, and life cannot wait for old rules. You call me impure, yet you leave me to suffer. That is cruelty, not law." The elders exchanged uneasy glances. Kale's face hardened, but some villagers began to murmur in agreement. A few stepped closer, their eyes meeting Lyra's with hesitant curiosity rather than scorn. Marcus set the flask down, gesturing to the well. "The water belongs to everyone," he said. "Not just to the powerful or those who follow every tradition. It belongs to those who live." Lyra felt a surge of hope. She took a deep breath and stepped forward, holding the flask. "Then I will drink again," she said, her voice stronger. Kale growled but did not move. The elders huddled, whispering urgently. For the first time, their authority felt uncertain. Marcus looked around at the crowd. Change is difficult. But cruelty in the name of tradition is a choice, not a law. You may follow your rituals, or you may choose compassion. That is the question. The villagers exchanged glances. Slowly, one by one, they they began to step forward to the well. A woman handed Lyra a fresh clay cup of water, a silent acknowledgement of her right to live. Cale's eyes narrowed at this, but Marcus's calm presence did not waver. He had not demanded respect, he had offered a simple, undeniable truth: life and kindness mattered more than fear and superstition. Lyra felt tears prick her eyes. She held the cup, then handed it to a small child who had been watching from the edge of the square. "Drink," she said. "We all deserve it." The villagers hesitated, then followed the child's example. Water flowed, and the square, once silent and tense, buzzed with life. Laughter and murmurs replaced fear and scorn. Cale retreated to the elders, muttering under his breath, but he did not stop the others. Marcus approached Lyra and smiled. "You were brave," he said. Lyra shook her head. "No. You showed me how to be brave. You reminded me that life is more important than fear." Marcus nodded. "That is how humans sometimes survive, by choosing compassion over rules. By offering help when it is needed most." The sun began to set over Carthua, casting long shadows over the dusty village. Lyra drank her last sip from the flask and felt a sense of belonging she had never known. The villagers were still cautious, but the seed of change had been planted. Marcus prepared to leave, the flask now empty. "Remember," he said, "kindness is stronger than fear. Rules can protect, but they can also harm. Choose wisely." Lyra watched him go, a feeling of hope swelling in her chest. She had been branded impure, denied water, and abandoned by her own people. But she had also been shown a truth stronger than any superstition: life and compassion were universal, and even the smallest act of kindness could ignite change. That night, under the twin moons of Carthua, Lyra dreamed of water flowing freely, of people standing together, and of a human who had taught her the value of courage and mercy. The desert wind whispered through the village, carrying the promise of a new dawn, a dawn where no one would thirst alone again.